Hi, I'm Mike Sydow here with the new Gen C 230P excavator. This is the FourCast. We're going to go through the grade control settings on this machine. So the 230P is a integrated machine. This one just has 2D grade control on it. The other option from the factory is 3D smart grade. As you can see, there's really not a whole lot on the outside of the machine. It's very well packaged from the factory by way of harness integration and sensor integration with the machine. It really hides all the vulnerable components of the grade control. So really what we'll look at here is going to be mainly in the cab of the machine on the screen. So we're going to dive into 3 segments on this machine, one of them being John Deere SmartWeigh, the other one being 2D grade control, and the last one being virtual fence. Each segment comes as a standard base level technology kit from Deere. So we'll see most of the machines we receive in from Deere with this base technology package. The one upgrade from this package is to add 3D smart grade. That can be added after the fact, after the purchase of the machine, or as a factory equipped option. Diving into the first one, we're looking at SmartWeigh. The machine is integrated with IMUs and a calibration from the factory with the bucket that it comes with to know when it's scooping material and loading trucks, how much each bucket weighs. SmartWeigh goes through and it can categorize material. You can categorize different trucks and truck types, and you can load count with it. You can calibrate different buckets to work with SmartWeigh. So if you want to change out buckets, there's features to add new buckets as you use the machine. And then once you're all calibrated and you have all your trucks and material settings in, it's a very simple feature for the operator to use. It goes scoop by scoop. So you would scoop a bucket load of material. It would weigh as you're swinging. And then as you unload, it's going to automatically add that to that truck until you hit a target weight. Once you've hit your target weight, you can clear for the next truck and keep track of that in a background report. All of that information feeds into John Deere Operations Center. So as the machine's working, it's logging data in a cloud server that's accessible after the fact as well for data record keeping. So on the G5 display, we've got our app library on the bottom, and right now we've pulled up the SmartWeigh app. I can collapse this here if I want to just get a full view of the app. What we'll see up here is we have a bucket. It's gonna, as I would operate the machine, it would load weight into this target scale and it would show the weight on the bucket. Also, it's gonna show you how much you've loaded into your truck. Within this screen, you can change truck types. You can add trucks. Multiple trucks can be added into the system. You can also add material types. We don't have any in here now, but you could add different material types with tonnage densities. You could add SKU numbers and pile locations within your job site. All that data gets backfed into the Ops Center to help keep track of billings and whatnot. And again, all that can be pre-configured in the screen right here. There is a clear load. There's a pause. So if you need to go and clean up a pile while you're waiting for trucks, you can pause. You can add multiple trucks here as you're running through loads. It's very easy to use, very functional from the screen. And again, all these controls can be integrated into the joystick. And then from an operator perspective, it's easier to use. John Deere's integrated it into their joysticks, so there's no additional buttons anywhere else in the cab. It's all right here at the fingertips. They can quickly clear a load, add a load, change trucks, change buckets, all from the integrated buttons on the joystick. So all the payload weighing options can be configured on all these multi-function switches, fingertip controls, clearing trucks, changing materials, changing buckets, pausing the load. All that can be configured from this interface down here in the joystick controls, which makes it easy for the operator to set up their operating style, and it can be configured to multiple users. In the past methods, the only option for weighing, payload weighing, was an add-on third-party system. It introduced additional harnesses, additional sensors, and they were not integrated into the machine, so calibration was a little more technical. Maintenance and upkeep on those systems was more difficult, and having it integrated in the cab and the machine not only protects that equipment, but makes it more seamless and lowers the cost of operation for this machine system. 2D grade control also integrated into the joystick controls. The 2D grade control is based on two inputs, either a bucket tip input or a rotating laser reference. The rotating laser sensor can come as an option from the factory. It's installed on the stick. It would pick up the input from a rotating laser and give you an elevation on the grade control screen. But standard is to have bucket input. So the bucket size is calibrated into the system upon delivery. New buckets can be added, but once it's calibrated in, the machine knows where the tooth tip is on this bucket, and it would use the tip of the tooth for a benchmark reference. From there, it's one easy button click to bench a tooth and set a grade, and then you can engage autos and start grading out that 2D grade control. Other features embedded in 2D grade control, not only just flat surfaces, but you can design in sloped surfaces, single or dual planar surfaces. Again, those are benched with the tooth or a rotating laser. Once you're benched in on a sloping surface, it's going to know where that slope exists. You'll be able to engage autos and grade out that slope. Repositioning the machine in 2D does require a rebench, but again, very easy to do. You can configure those on the joystick fingertip controls as well. All right, what we're looking at here is our 2D grade control screen. We can see our app library still down here. It's got all our smart apps. I'm gonna close that for now, and we're gonna look at the 2D. So what I've done already, I've benched my bucket. This is just a 2.5% grade we've entered here as a target grade. It's gonna tell me where I'm sitting cross slope wise on my bucket, and then it's gonna give me a cut or fill to my desired bench. I've got an offset in here. I can change this. So I can change my benchmark on the fly by typing in a plus or minus offset. I'll zero it out for now, hit OK. And as we can see, our grade bar turns green, indicating that my bucket is where I've benched my elevation. That's where I want it. If I need to rebench for any reason, again, I just hit this button here. This button for benching and offset adjustment can be configured in our fingertip controls, again, to make it easier for the operator. The other inputs I can see down here on the very bottom are my track positions for the machine. So if I ever am moving along the job site and I want to match a grade or drive up onto a grade, I can always know where my machine's grades sit. I can change view. There's a 3-dimensional view. Most handy will be your 2-dimensional in 2D. The top half is going to show me cross-section views of my bucket. Right here, it tells me I'm sitting at a negative 2.5% cross slope. And if I look at the screen, I can see the surface tilted a little bit. That's a good indicator if you're digging like a trench or trying to dig a flat surface that, hey, I'm sitting on a cross slope. And it's good to know too that you can adjust your elevation input on the bucket to dig to the low side of your cross slope. Just by tapping that, I give 3 options: left, right, or middle. Again, this button and our benchmark button are configurable on fingertips on the joysticks. Ideally, the operator should never have to take their hands off the controls. Once they've started grading on the grade control, all your functions are going to be right here on your fingertips, so they can keep digging without having to reach up and touch the screen at all. They can keep their hands right here and get through the dig faster and more efficiently. I can adjust my elevation offset. You can quickly configure an offset for your joysticks. Last feature we're going to go through is virtual fence. Virtual fence is a standard option on this tier package. It is going to give the operator a set boom height, a set boom depth, a set boom reach, and avoidance into the cab. So these can all be configured by the operator by positioning the arm where they want it to stop at a safe distance and just turning it on. It's meant to be like a 2-step process where you see an avoidance you want to create, you move your machine to that limit of avoidance, and then you hit set on the screen here. It's going to lock in that avoidance zone, so when they're operating, the machine will actually stop either swinging, raising, lowering, or reaching to keep that operator and the machine safe. This is great for tight areas, alongside active roadways, in tight trenching situations. It's just one less thing for the operator to think about. They can set it, forget it, go about their day, and just know that they're not going to cause damage to the machine or their surrounding environment. Again, on our app library, they're calling this the carousel wheel, but I like to call it the Smart App Library. I can see my SmartWeigh. I got 2D up. I'm going to switch to virtual fence real quick. So here we are in virtual fence. It's, again, meant to be very user-friendly. We've got all of our virtual fence options here on the side. We've got virtual ceiling, virtual reach, virtual floor, and then swing left or right. Now these all can be configured and turned on or off by simply clicking the power button. When I turn them on, you'll see these bars illuminate green. If I wanted to switch to a different app, I could do that, and I'd still know it was active by this indicator up here. This is my virtual fence, and then this is my virtual rotation. And again, all these are configurable. So if I have a set height, I can enter it by tapping on the box, typing in my desired height. Let's say I don't know what my desired height is. I can lift my arm up to the safe reach that I want to achieve, and I can hit match. It's going to change my ceiling height. Okay. And now that's locked in. Same with my reach. If I didn't know, say I didn't know if it was 27.6, I wanted to actually match where I'm at now. I hit match, hit OK. And now that's set. And what that does is it eliminates any chance of that machine going past those virtual fences. It will slowly stop the machine as you approach that fence to a complete halt. And then as you reach back, it'll turn it off and the operator can go back to normal operation. So this is just a peace of mind thing to keep the operator out of any obstacles around them, avoid any damage. And it's one less thing for them to think about as they're operating. If they're in a tight area along a live corridor, it's easy to set this and forget it, go about your day working, and not have to worry about hitting anything. These can be turned on and off quickly. Say they wanted to come in here and pause these, they just hit that pause all, and it's going to pause them so they can go about other activities and not have to worry about being stopped or limited by the virtual fence. John Deere's done a great job of designing a 2-button click to set a virtual fence, and then a 1-button click to turn it off, 1-button click to go back in and reactivate it. These buttons can also be configured on our joysticks to turn these fences on or off. Within the screen here, you're able to configure these buttons as a, let's say you wanted to configure virtual ceiling as a quick button. You could turn it on and off with, say, this trigger button here. Again, making it easier for the operator to not have to reach for the screen and make adjustments while he's trying to run the machine. So switching over to our camera view here, we've got a 270-degree camera view, a rear and right facing, basically to cover your blind spots, the most vulnerable blind spots on an excavator. This screen is easy to access from our carousel down here, flipping between our smart apps. You can pull that up. If we wanted to, we could split screen this. We could run grade control and 270-degree cameras. You can configure these to be just one camera view or the two. There are other options to upfit this with more cameras, additional cameras, or sonar sensors, which is going to add the automation of obstacle avoidance. There's 3 tiers to, I'll call their camera package. Base tier is cameras, 270-degree on this machine. The next tier up would be adding the sonar sensors, which are integrated into the camera system. That integrates into your virtual fences and automation of the machine too. So if the machine detects something, an object, before the operator might see it on the camera, it'll stop the machine. So these are integrated features that are options on all P-Tier excavators and all of our next-gen smart grade or smart equipment as well. The big thing with the cameras, the virtual fence, the obstacle avoidance is a big move towards safety with John Deere. This isn't the only machine equipped with this. We're seeing this standardized on motor graders, dozers, and wheel loaders to integrate information and safety into this machine. So in closing, we're here again with our 230P Gen C Excavator. We covered 3 segments on this machine: the 2D grade control, the SmartWeigh, and the virtual fences. We touched a little bit on the 270-degree cameras, obstacle avoidance. This is something that we're standardizing at 4 Rivers as our base level machine. It is a very low cost option from Deere to get these technologies integrated, something I recommend every customer look at doing. There's a huge amount of value for the small cost that Deere's selling these at. We will have these machines at 4 Rivers locations across our territory for demo, for questions, We'll be putting them into the field soon for customer live demos. If you have any questions, reach out to your Four Rivers rep or your Foresight rep. We're here to support. We're here to get these machines in the field, and there's a lot of potential. Thanks again for watching the FourCast. This is Mike Sydow signing out.